get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Yeah,
The Dojo Podcast, season 17, episode 17.
17.
Is it 17?
16.
Is it 16?
16.
Yeah.
It was 15
Oh,
last
snap.
week.
All right.
Hey, man.
What to do, gents?
I know. Sharp.
Ntse re phela ka paballo ya Ramasedi.
Yeah, befela khathetse. Isiclaw manje. You know, otherwise
Ba bang ba rona se re tshaba ho ipolaya se re emetse lebitso la letsatsi la Ramasedi le fihle. But for all intended purposes, we are dead. Se re tshaba fast track process.
hey man.
Re emetse le fihle le letsatsi la teng. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good, man.
We got bills?
Yeah, we got bills. 3 bills today.
Yeah, let's pay the bills.
We're still coming to you from hackers, so that's now staple. We still have party end of this month, 25, 27th. After ski snow experience Lesotho 6,000. Get it on uziruonline.co.za to pick up spots. Mabatu and Mafikeng. So Yaravara Lesotho ne.
And it's already been snowing, man.
Yeah, but
you
the
can
homie
see
was telling me how it's snowing, but the weather is nice that side. Because apparently when it snows, you don't feel the cold immediately. You feel it when it melts.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think what really makes it cold when it snows is the wind that blows.
Because now yeah,
Oh, yeah. Hey, Joe.
I speak under correction because that's how we experience their
Yes,
snow.
yes.
Yeah,
sense.
the snow doesn't come,
Yeah.
but it's blowing that wind from
The wind that's coming.
wind.
And how you could get
It makes sense.
Hell.
Yeah, and it hits you in your bones, fine. Yeah, it's that cold that hits you in
Yeah,
your
so
bones.
that's that. Check it out. And then just like last week, we are powered by FVCK.
Yes.
Fight Violence, Create Kings. They got me kill it out in their.
Oh, we got you looking fresh out here.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's smooth.
Yeah,
Eh?
got
It
you
feels
looking
good.
fresh.
Last week we had a cap and
Denim jacket.
the denim jacket.
Yes,
Ne?
yeah.
So we just showcasing you things that black entrepreneurs are creating, man, from scratch.
Yeah.
This feels good.
Yeah.
So check them out. So
Where can they find it?
www.fvcklifestyle.co.za.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, man.
I think in Aboma 1.2, you can get this set. It's quite nice.
Sweet.
It's lovely.
Dope.
Yeah, man.
That cap that Mo is wearing is the material.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good fabric.
Can I give guy
330.
330? Ne?
Alright. Shout outs to the Patreon.
Shout
to the
out
YouTube.
to the Patreon. Shout out to YouTube.
On top of the episode, NJ.
Yeah,
Shout out
Please like and subscribe. Mine.
Exactly.
And sign up for that Patreon to get that juicy.
That juicy.
I wanna be pilong how na le bless. Tlam no we le boy.
Don't know the level. Skip at least.
No stroke ego ya moreki. So jile.
Skip at least.
Yeah, but thank you. That it actually means a lot.
Yeah. Shout outs, man. We really appreciate you
We
guys.
find that shit through them.
Yeah. Otherwise, Glenn?
Yeah, man. How was my week? Non-eventful.
Uneventful.
Yeah.
Non-eventful.
Non-eventful.
Oh.
Man.
Yeah. You didn't get up too much.
No. Nilisipanyana fela.
Yeah. Alina Gaspani.
You were not here last week.
Yes. In the really hearty Silimbali. You know, a little excursion. Yeah.
Finally, abantu bazi bafanda ukuthi ba notshola nombala.
God. It's a traveling group.
And I bet they've been wondering.
It's a traveling group.
Ibile, when they announced in the group where they're not going to be recording, Mbali said, me and Des are away.
Man, Nalimbali, we in a traveling group. Oh,
Don't explain. You are
I'm explaining because Jalo said, let's not.
Why explain?
Let's not.
And the more we explain, you are selling it.
Well. So, man, in Nalimbali, we in a traveling group, so the group had organized a trip to Hartis. Yeah, it was nice. We got ourselves like a nice house.
The crib looked nice.
Yeah, it was a really nice crib. And I've also been Is
it?
Yeah, but it seems like Hona spot kick off estate.
Okay.
Yeah. there's a lot of people but it's at the Airbnb. So even our neighbors give the Airbnb.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
so
lends itself to
yeah.
similar type of guests.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Because if it's somebody that's more everyday residential, then it creates problems.
yeah, it creates problems. The neighbor they are complaining. Yeah. So never people
sure.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, mara keteke ke
Ke
People go ma keteke ke dak. Mara una so refresh shame. We had no problems. We even had people come through and
Did it come with a boat?
no.
Did you guys go on a boat?
No.
Nari too
Yeah,
late for
nari too late. Yeah. What's up? Kimba litamana na organize say tabaza di book.
Do you guys enjoy boat rides?
I do.
Why? You like it?
You know, like sometimes you don't like the activity, but just the novelty of it.
The novelty of it.
You see, my thing with a boat ride is that usually when we go on boat rides, it's like for an hour or two.
Yeah.
So like I'm paying just to go get on some water and then
Yeah,
come back.
and then come
It's not like I'm on a yacht where I'm spending the whole day.
Oh, the whole day on it. Okay.
I'm eating, I'm
I hear you.
swimming,
I hear you.
So-
I'm drinking.
Yeah.
We're just chilling in the sun.
Exactly.
You know, that's what I would want to do.
No, no, my first
But
time-
I don't want to go like on a ferry. And then you
Utamai,
take me
No.
Like, what do we-
My first experience of it, we went to the Val River. The guy ended up on Sunday Times, but I won't say his name. So a homie of mine has a friend. Kauchinyana di nyongo di tenda wabo. Pulls up, I just got a Discovery 3 weekend. I just got a Discovery 3 and a boat. O tla go go ba ntse vele o tswa Pretoria. I want to go to the Val. It was a long time ago, maybe 2002, yeah. Thereabouts. Damanutla a hohobanya scared. We go, your friends, my friends, type of situation, who Southgate who record the drinks, so we spent the whole day in it. It like
In the boat.
had a sound, like a sound system.
yeah, sound system.
So we spent the whole day in it. And that was dope. So that was my first
Yeah,
experience.
that's what I like to do.
Yeah,
That's what I want to do. Not just like like wash up like more. So I tell like some mist. Like yo, bro, like what are we doing out here?
Because I thought maybe the house comes with it, like maybe
no.
lead drive, because the speedboats you can
Yeah.
drive yourselves.
No, for sure. But
And also, the boat is really big enough.
for everybody.
Like the kind of boat you want to go on, you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
They don't got those at our
You don't get those. You don't get those.
Yeah, they go blind. They go blind. But otherwise, when I'm home,
Yeah, no, I've been good, man. I've been
good.
good. I just came back from the Eastern Cape.
sure.
When did I come back? I came back in the early hours of today.
No bataunyela ne?
Yeah, but it wasn't too bad. You know what I realized, nah? You see those blankets? Masulanka. Those things are important, man.
Built for purpose ne?
Yeah.
Built for purpose.
Built
Yeah,
for
I
purpose.
see why niggas keep them on. And it's like, they don't make you hot. Like
Yes.
when it's hot, they don't make you hot. It's almost as
It's
if
like
like they have
fetch.
this built-in
Ventilation.
air conditioning
Thermal, what,
system
what.
happening. So like, because people always say, okay, like what you said,
What,
that,
very cool.
that thing doesn't burn you, bro. But when it's cold, it blocks
protects.
the wind.
It's like fetch. Yes,
Yeah,
it's like fetch.
in all sorts of ways. So it's. So I had it on like 90% of the time. Yeah,
The entire time, only that. Ne?
so it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
And
built for
yeah, but it
purpose.
was good, man. It's always good to go makaya and you know
touch base. Ne?
go participate in the cultural things, learn things,
Learn
listen
things,
to
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sekebo Lotse now, like I'm privy to conversations
That-
they always used to.
So
Yeah.
so hula mamatika o tsoro snotlolo jwale.
So it's like I get to hear things, and you even get tea.
Of course.
That was above your.
Above your
above your pay grade.
That must be a whole eye opener. Ne?
It's like, bro, is this like? It's like you get introduced into a world that's been right under your nose. The
All along, the entire time.
Sure. So to let you use later, though.
Yeah.
You're on the mailing list now.
Yeah, so literally.
So this is
So to let you use later.
yeah, that's the nice thing about it,
Hey,
man.
man.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
pay
it.
you pay a good price for that shit.
Yeah,
Might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, and this year is going to be a big year. Latlinda.
Yeah, can we say Lensamoto?
It's 5 now here.
Also, the number has been increasing.
Yeah, the number increased like from the same clan.
Yeah.
And there's considerations. It's all from Latlinda.
Hey,
Nice.
So, such a responsibility, bro.
So it's
not
like
as nice.
pity. So if you finna, come through. Like there's a
where does it look like it's gonna be?
No, I think that's still to be determined.
It's to be
Yeah,
determined,
and the fact that that's also still to be determined.
okay.
But the seed was planted.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, if it's 5,
Yeah,
why are we going to
somebody else.
Yeah.
Hell of a responsibility.
Alright, man.
From
Aight,
Mpato.
Yeah. Hey man, we got a guest.
I don't guess.
It's not a guest. Come on, ghost.
Keep ghosting by.
It's a resident guest.
President guest.
What do you got, fella voice?
It's a resident guest. What to do, my G?
I'm good. How's it, James?
Mlindos.
Easy, my G. It's about to sharp. Guys, see that.
Aye. Oh, good, man. Oh, good.
What's happening with the hood politics in town, guys?
Like a meeting what
Hood politics. What does J-Rock say? Oi, hood politics official when they want you out of the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll fish.
Alright, man, let's get
Oh,
it.
and on the shop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, call
Yeah,
you say
yeah, I see.
in the
In the Ravile into Gatavo group. Alright, man, let's get it. Alright, man. I think the biggest talking point of the week in the later in it's the hospital in the clinic in there. I think we've touched a little bit on it. Remember I had a topic about the girl who was denied a transplant because she was a foreigner, you know what I'm saying? I guess now, into the escalating kind of members of the community have been taking it upon themselves for the migrants or the illegals,
must access the benefits.
Yeah, especially public health benefits. The clinic, the hospital, so and there's just been a lot of debate about the morality of it. Vis-a-vis kind of getting the Constitution because of what the Constitution says, or especially when it comes to the health, as long as you're within the borders, you shouldn't be denied, irrespective of your kind of status.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights applies to everyone within the border.
Everyone
irrespective of status.
Yeah, irrespective of status. I think we got that way, very just set out for South Africans.
Or let me rather say everyone within the border to whom it applies.
Yeah, so I had somebody on the news being painstakingly trying to explain that part because he was like, it's actually a girl, the one who learned that March in KZN, how it started was to say, I think that's what the Bill of Rights says. It says everyone, and then it says, when it was conceptualized, it meant everyone inclusive of everyone that was not taken care of before apartheid, because apartheid was explicitly white. So when they said everyone, they meant now everyone who is South African who was excluded, right? And then she was then saying, at the same time,
this is how she's interpreting
how she's interpreting it. Then she was then, remember then, the thing is with all these constitutional clauses, sometimes one keeps the other one honest or contradicts or corrects or whatever. She was like saying, well, I can also lean on, remember we call this thing called citizens arrest? There's a responsibility on citizens to do citizens arrest.
If you notice,
you don't have to be a police officer to enforce the law, right? Yeah, there's a thing called citizens arrest.
I don't know if we have it.
We have it in South Africa.
We have it. I can
yeah,
say.
You can enforce a citizens arrest.
Yeah, like if
So she was saying, the Constitution says if you are illegal in South Africa, you should be deported, right? So between being deported and being taken care of, which one comes first?
Hey, I don't know about that citizen's arrest.
Yeah, you can't do citizens arrest in South Africa. You can check.
We
Yeah.
not take a ChatGPT.
Yeah, you can do citizens arrest.
Oh, wait, I had no idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a responsibility on citizens to
yeah.
uphold the law.
The law. Okay. So basically, what they're doing is that they've chosen clinics and hospitals as the point to find these illegals.
No, they are using that because that's where the problem is manifesting for the everyday person,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
Because the thing about being illegal, we still know Rubana release pass. We could go there.
yeah.
But it's just that at the clinic, that's where now we are feeling the impact because
the
now
impact,
they were running
sure.
out of paneros,
Yeah.
things that
yeah,
they've never seen
yeah.
before.
Debate.
So then they were like, okay, the best place where we can attack these people is where the problem is manifesting
In a major way.
in a major way.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And just your initial thoughts around the manner that they're doing it in. Because
I think, yeah, I'm happy with the man.
you're happy with the man. even though they target to Matubakula.
When I say I'm happy, I'm not saying I agree with it.
Oh, but you're happy. Yeah.
It sounds
powerful.
it sounds
It's
oxymoronic.
Yeah, it's
So
powerful.
my point is that it's almost like service delivery, right? So we implore people to use the correct channels to voice their concerns.
Grievances, sure.
But we also know that until we express something in a way that does not cause discomfort for you, you're never going to do anything about it as government. So re chisa library so that we get your attention ka mutlakas.
Yeah.
Because hareya who department ya mutlakas hale So the psyche of a South African is that I need to create something so uncomfortable for you to
Chaos.
end up looking my direction.
Yeah. So
And
you
that's
can
what
get
you've
out.
taught me.
But
So-
guys, was there ever a time the public health system was not burdened? Have you used public
I have,
hospitals
I have.
before?
I have.
What has been your experience there?
It's been horrific my
Yeah, it's,
entire
it's
life.
always been. Yeah,
How long do you wait there?
You literally wake up around 3 a.m., then you get the wafola.
Or government services for that matter.
Yeah,
Whether
but
it's home affairs or whatever.
It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
there's always been.
And always been overburdened.
Yeah, it's
whether
always- yeah.
whether it's overburdened by South Africans or illegal immigrants.
Or inefficiencies.
That's
Yes.
you see.
Or inefficiencies,
That's my next question to say, if the immigrant problem was to be done away with,
Yeah.
Well,
Would-
the line
would we see something different?
Yeah, somebody did actually tweet about that. Actually, even if you were to take away the illegals, it will not solve the problem.
There's never been a time, bro.
because-
we used to go to public hospitals
Yeah.
as kids.
As
Like,
kids, and then
Well,
you
for-
need to like,
but
Yeah.
it's always been a horrific
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never
But I
changed.
think Maurice, it goes back to something that we've discussed before. I think when it comes to these things, there is a place for logic, then there's a place for law, then there's a place for psychology,
Okay.
right? Meaning, if my aunt's kids live with us, because our parents were Utwan, then one of my parents gets retrenched, then there's no longer enough food going around. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go from the agreement of Ribanabamu. So I'm gonna go Ribanabamutu when things were good to Banabarahari.
Singling out an outcast once
to
circumstances
Banabarahari. So now the degrees of separation, I try to, because what I'm now trying to point out is like, haso nyiwa, as a human being, I go to the psychology of it, right? I go to the feel like, I'm allowed to in first line in. You see, because we've said this before, like abundance masks inefficiencies, right? Which is what we say, like, if the state was functioning, we would not even look at a foreigner. If the state was functioning, we would not. So, also, unfortunately, if it does not work, you, the person that always thought we were equals, you must also know your place too. I think you must not be too blind to it too, so that you end up fighting for this thing as if it's your mother's house too.
Because it's not your mother's house.
I may agree that my mom or my parents are not efficient with how they are using these resources. But at some point, human nature, when it kicks in,
I also knew.
yeah, re tlo shebana ka tlung.
I see here, no.
So that's the psychology of it. And then I think like in this melting pot of trying to dissect it, a lot of things are right and a lot of things are wrong. But what we then do is that we
No, I feel you.
but taking out foreigners, and remember, for me as well, that's a finger that points at us because it also says, but even you, the person that's fighting the foreigner, you are still the person that has put this government, knowing that this government has always failed you when it comes to healthcare. They've always failed you. You've always known this. So why are you acting fresh today?
Yeah, it's a lot. Because we can't sit and say the foreigners aren't the problem.
Yes.
But happy we can't also say
They're the only problem.
They're the only problem. Sure, I think
They are not.
like you're saying, it's a whole melting pot of problems. It's Alanda.
And Tawang is right. We do have a private citizen's arrest.
Yeah,
Oh well.
Yeah, yes, South Africa does have a citizen's arrest. According to the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977, any private person can arrest someone without a warrant under certain circumstances. Schedule 1 offense, reasonable belief, authorized by law, are free.
I do know that there's something there's something about it. So so that's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. But just like everything else in South Africa, we want to create noise, and then when you create noise, what happens? We listen to the loudest voice, we look at the biggest activity, and then there's a blind spot that misses us.
Yeah. And I think, the same thing that you are talking about, like those symptoms and effects, just on a bigger scale, we're finding them happening at a bigger scale because everything that's wrong with government, it's the foreign nationals.
Do you think that there's something to be gained from meddling in other countries' internal affairs?
Yes.
Insofar as trying to influence a favorable outcome for those people to lessen the probability of them finding the need to come here.
And burdening you.
Because
No, for real.
Our foreign policy is very it's not our
Business.
but we'll play like a mediation, arbitration role where we try to get people to the table and speak things.
Yes.
But we don't
Intervene.
or apply sanctions.
Or
we don't intervene.
We don't intervene.
We'll send a peacekeeping force, but if a president of another country, we don't.
we don't allow.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to two things about it. I think, in particular, like Zimbabwe, I think there were favors between the leaders of Body Frelimos, Body King, the ruling party, Yabo Mnangagwa,
ZANU.
the ZANU PF, the ANC, where these guys that now find themselves, it's like, it's Maurice, bro.
It's my
He's
boy.
running my tattoo. That's my nigga, bro.
That's my man.
And he was there for me at a personal level when it was my ass, right?
Move back a little so that you can speak into the mic.
Yeah. So when it was my ass, wabo, and then I think when they find themselves here, Ibakar, they are now peers. Ne? It's like, look, man, I think there's a part of you that needs to be seen like you are doing something, but between the two of us, we also know that you can't do anything. Wabo. And one of the other things that happens is that these guys back are business. If you look at who owns mines in Zimbabwe, you'll be surprised. It's South African politicians. So, and then the exchange is then, look, Mfetu, Babanya, Babulele, Rona, at the brotherhood level, this thing still benefits us. The dysfunction still benefits us. So I think, for me, that's where the primary problem is.
Yeah, because if our neighbors were working, dog, like if the neighboring countries, like for instance Zimbabwe, if Zimbabwe was really working, there would be no need for these niggas to come through here. And it's to our benefit to help them niggas.
For them to work, yeah.
I'm fine with
And I think that's the policy that Malema wanted to spearhead in the last elections. It's just that he worded it incorrectly,
Yeah, the
and that's
narrative
when
was
it
wrong,
caused
yeah.
problems. Yeah,
Okay, you know,
because
Africanism.
it's to our benefit that those countries are functional.
Because I finally made to blind.
Yeah.
We made to blind.
Yeah, in fact, I think when Thabo Mbeki left office, he used to like to play like a mediation role in a lot of these war-torn Sudan. He used to be like a big voice in terms of mediation. But like Congo is still not getting resolved. Sudan is not getting resolved. Zimbabwe is not getting resolved.
DRC.
Yeah, that's Congo. There's an issue that's like bubbling now, Mozambique.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's
Oh,
just
yeah. I remember the protest.
And then
And he actually keeps mentioning it in his lectures, or like the current leadership has moved away from
Africa.
addressing the conflicts.
like
South
the continental foreign policy that we used to have, because there used to be like a lot of concerted effort, especially with the AU, in trying to make sure that, or in trying to advance the prosperity of the continent as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like right now the ANC has started looking more inwards than
outwards.
Like it's almost as if they've sort of blocked themselves or become oblivious to what's happening
Outside.
elsewhere in the continent.
Because he was big on African Renaissance.
Yeah, they don't concern themselves with that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a frustration for him.
And I think just to add to your question on Oebuti originally, what you're also finding is that who also benefits from the dysfunction is the West, right? So, for example, it's also in the best interest of the West that these brothers don't see eye to eye, who are called Africa. Because if they wake up to their greatness, it's our ass. So you'll find that Rwanda is very close to Israel. Very close, right? And then you also think, but we would have thought Rwanda would have a moral conscience around a topical genocide. But why is it that in the global stage, they seem to be on the side of the person that is accused of the same thing, and South Africa is leading that charge, right? Then you go to the Congo, where most of the mining houses are owned by the West and the Chinese, right? And you can see what, like, it's in the best interest of the West that the Africans themselves, the solution does not come from Africa. Because that dysfunction benefits the West the most.
Yeah. Because DRC highly dysfunctional, so because there's no regulation about what's happening around the mines, then all of these things,
Sudan is now split into two, into South and North Sudan. And there's a lot of people that die there, that more than the people in Gaza. But then the narrative from a media point of view then highlights the Palestinian pain almost as if it's more superior than the African pain. So today you'll never find a black South African who even knows what the flag of Sudan looks like.
Yeah, man.
But we know what the Palestinian one looks like.
Yeah, I get it's ABB.
You don't know what it looks like.
I don't know.
Other people, they don't even know when the split between South and North happened.
But why don't we know that?
Yeah. So I'm saying, well, that's like also like with the West, from a media point of view, I think there's a vested interest not to drive that narrative. I think that's one part of it.
To really highlight.
Yeah, to really highlight.
But then that's
the
only
shit that's
because we're
happening there.
dependent on them for news. As if we don't own a whole South African broadcasting.
Exactly. And other broadcasters in the other countries as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there really isn't any reason why we shouldn't know what the flag of Libya looks like. There isn't, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
It's only because you look at the people, you look at other people to go and do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we don't do it ourselves. It's like politicians always complaining about how the media paints them in a bad light.
But they have SABC.
They don't have any PR runs of their own.
Yeah.
Because when they're supposed to hire a PR expert, we treat her like a tender.
Then you go and you blame the
White House,
News
Media
24.
House, media
But-
houses.
You don't have a concerted effort to get your story across.
You didn't write shit.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I was having a conversation, a bit of a digression here. I was having a conversation with, I don't remember who I was having it with, but we were talking about history, né? Like African history. You know how we always like to go on about the African history that was written by Europeans is biased, and
Yes.
it doesn't paint a full picture of what really happened
Happened in Africa.
you know?
Yeah.
And
And
a
then-
lot of it has been distorted. Certain narratives have been exaggerated to justify what they did to us.
Yes.
You know, sort of thing going on. And then I start to think to myself, like, notwithstanding the fact that we have a lot of African intellectuals, historians, and writers who do put out material, right? But in comparison, we don't contribute to knowledge.
As
Knowledge
as
production.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't contribute to knowledge as much as we could.
Yep. Yep.
You know, because you keep talking about, okay, that's not what really happened. What actually happened is this. Okay, where's your work?
Where's the
your
work?
Because it's inconvenient.
work?
Because that work is painful.
Where's your work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's your work? I mean,
Yeah.
it could be a blog post.
Yeah, yeah, but where's the work?
Anything,
bro?
something.
You know, like, have you contributed to the knowledge bank
Yeah.
That when I search,
for you to fix this narrative?
you are, you are in
Or to
the-
counter it at
yeah.
the least.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the least.
We
At
don't
the
we don't
least.
contribute.
You are
bruh.
right. You
Yeah,
are right.
at the least,
Yeah.
Baji.
You are right. You are right. And another thing, what paralyzes us is that I think sometimes we look at what we are up against, and then the sheer thought of starting, we think we're gonna be a drop in the ocean, and then we don't could like. We can't fathom that even these people started somewhere. So let me make an example. There was a lady who recommended something, decolonization and then and
I listened to that YouTube thing,
then I
by the
did.
way. Yeah.
So the guy actually has a brilliant way of thinking. So it's almost like if this was independence, and this is us forward looking, and this is us going back. Black intellectuals, we have to go back. Good, like we are going backwards when whiteness is forward looking, right?
It's going in.
To preempt, because we still have to. We turn a proof shit. That's all. We are running to a ship that's already sailed.
We are trying to unscramble the egg.
Yeah, like we are taking every resource we have. It's like, think about, let's rename this town. Yeah, we understand why it makes sense, but like, is that the best deployment of our funds, really?
Yep.
Right? Yes, it pulls at the heartstrings, right? But what it takes away from is the forward-looking part.
Sure.
So we can't catch up with this nigga, because by the time we go back, when we lift our eyes, he's so far back that the thing that we are trying to fix for the new environment that we live in, it's useless.
Useless.
It's useless. Ne? Mara ntse re no, let's go back to our roots. Let's go back to. It's like, nah, nigga. We now caught on to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've caught on to the game. Ne? Now that we've caught on to the game, we need to play by the rules of the game. We are in a globalized economy. You cannot wish it away.
Yeah.
Ne? Re bua sekgowa, you cannot wish it away.
Because the thing about the old days, they're the old days.
They're the old days. It's nice to reminisce about them.
In the words of
Sure.
one Slim Charles.
Yeah,
In
the
the
wire.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now it's like,
Mara, the reason why we are going back is because we're still trying to self-identify.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the looking back is because we were so stripped of ourselves, our
Yeah.
cultures, and
Yeah.
and so we do the backward thing in
Yeah.
order to sort of like we are trying to make ourselves whole.
yeah. So it goes. So here's what I'm gonna ask. So, and I've been struggling with that thing personally too. Is that what is the cost of being right? Ne? Because we are so fixated about doing the right thing, ne, that we don't know even what is the cost of being right. Where sometimes the cost of being right is being helpful.
Okay, expound.
So meaning that all the things that you are doing, all the right things, ne, they're just not helpful. But because they are right, they don't have detractors. Like nobody's gonna stop you and say, because then you can do all the right things, ne? But it's a cop out for what we are trying to achieve. In fact, it's lazy. It's not that because it's right, it won't maybe be met with a lot of brute force.
Yeah,
I don't follow.
So what I'm saying is that to go back and say, okay, we're gonna define ourselves as Africans and this, it's a right thing to do, ne?
Sure.
But is it useful?
Yeah, what does it do?
Yeah, like,
what does it
yes,
do for us?
if especially if we've said an enemy is white, is it useful?
You would think it would be useful because you for self-identity, self-confidence. You know what I'm saying? Black
What I'm saying,
consciousness.
it pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
So
But then it gives you that a self-identity or self-confidence that you can't use anyway.
that you can use anyway, because the stage has already been laid.
It's already been said, ne?
In fact, it's like you see this even in sports, right? It's such a nice thing to watch. It's so beautiful. It's like,
Yeah, it's entertaining.
but it's not helpful for that nigga's career.
Yeah. You won't advance with that until
Yeah. But it gives us entertainment, and it even actually get him applause in a small stage.
Sure.
In a small stage, he gets applause, this nigga. Ne? But when he gets taken out of this environment to stand up with the Ronaldos who wakes up in the morning and has to practice a free kick for literally 4 hours, this nigga has no time for this. Says, so when he has to stand with giants, his name is not counted.
Word.
Because it takes work, it takes discipline, and it takes you recognizing that I'm in a game that has totally changed. Haksali ko Sharpeville. Haksali Sharpeville. This shit, these things are naked for Bomantwa. I'm not gonna get Bo Michelle. You know, I'm just saying, you know,
No,
like
I
it's
hear you.
right,
Yeah.
it's a right thing, but is it helpful? Is it useful? And I think a lot of times that's why we always need to like. And also, I'm not saying. I'm also saying that we don't need a singular narrative in the world. I think there are people that need to stand for something that helps us with certain blind spots, and then there are people that need to have foresight. But I think a lot of times, as people, is that we feel like we need to look at something only one-dimensionally. You know, there was a guy who said, for every Mandela who preached peace, because the Sanyova keeps Mandela honest, and because in South Africa we allowed the democracy to not have a Sanyova, because Mahua was so hell-bent on killing the PAC. And you can now realize, actually when we sit as black people, we're like, there was a place in this plate that we are eating where it was supposed to be PAC, because they stood for land. They stood for all these things. Ne? But what happens is that we trekked on one road, Yamandela. And then that also was our undoing. Wabo?
Amen.
That was our undoing.
Yeah.
And instead of playing the game, we bystanders in it.
We are watching now, yeah.
Shebi.
Yeah, we bystanders in it because we fought to be included in the stadium, not to be on the pitch. You see, so you get all the benefits of getting to watch this game,
The game. Yeah, ma outlaw.
but you never playing.
Yeah.
Outlaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting a peach.
Yeah.
And all the superstars don't look like you.
Another example of using that was to say the burden of going back means that you should be so comfortable that if I go back, I can be so strong in what I'm doing that I end up competing with the thing that that is my enemy. Let's take soccer, for example. It took DSTV to recognize the Mahlobo games, the Tebohomoloi, right? The Phillies games. It ended up taking whiteness to actually put money into those grassroots. Before, like, because before we used to treat, like, remember there was a time when the soccer in the hood, when the league closes, but we never actually it took our enemy to say there's value in this.
And then
Why didn't we create a league
around it.
Why didn't we create a business model around it? Why didn't we create revenue models around it? Include families, parkrun, how much like we so if we are gonna go back and we're gonna recognize something as great, then let's build that thing to be so great that it can then rival the thing that we think we are fighting against.
But then, to use your example, building that league has nothing to do with going back. It's everything to do with you understanding the situation that you now find yourself in.
Capitalism.
And being in Rome and doing what the Romans are doing.
Yeah.
Capitalizing.
Yeah. Capitalize on it.
Yeah, and we need to play the capital game.
You're not learning the lessons.
We're not learning the game.
You're not picking up the lessons.
Yeah.
But you in it.
Yeah. We're not learning the lesson. That's the.
You know, I had a conversation with a cousin of mine, right? What time is it? All right. So there's like livestock back home. You know, almost everyone owns livestock, right? But everyone is like very hell-bent on keeping their assets to themselves. So like, le like isakalaka.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess I can come on I can nothing. If you want something like that, you have to go start your own. Like there's no conception of a pooling of resources to build a bigger
Scale up. Consolidation and scale.
To scale up, right?
Scale up.
And then you think to yourself, okay, these are black families where there's a handful of people who are educated and hopefully employed as well, right? Then there's also a handful of people who might not or might be educated who own some livestock. Then the majority don't work and depend on those that do for livelihood. That's why you always have a cousin somewhere that needs help, a cousin somewhere that needs to go to school, a cousin somewhere that needs a job. You know, that we don't even do much to help, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
And then you think about like all the resources that are sitting within the family from the few that have and what could be done
if we could consolidate.
If those that have could consolidate and make this thing so big that it can sustain
it. Yes.
It can sustain everyone in the family.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking you going to build the community.
For sure.
But like
even within the family.
Building a vehicle that everyone in the family can at least go to bed having eaten.
Yeah.
And I like the mindset is so because why would you not want to? Because now also can the ego and jealousy or
why did it have to be you who come up with the idea?
Or how dinkuri tla hola o feta tsa and I'm just like I'm looking at all that land that's sitting in that side and what can be done. There's so much, bro.
I've been watching kind of again that Yellowstone show, ne? So there's these Indians there. There's like that Indian community with the reserves and whatnot. And obviously, Majida, they want their land back. So now they've elected this guy who's sort of like a leader of the community. And he's like, we're gonna get the land back. Mara now kind of rules it's about.
Using their rules.
Yeah, I'm gonna play by their rules and get my land back.
Law.
Yeah.
Build up with
the casino, make money for the for community, so that they can encroach in this land. I'm gonna drop a value at this land so I can buy it back.
Play by their rules. Gentrification.
And buy the shit back. And I think it's one of the lessons that I think we are not getting.
Actually, you are so right, because it's almost like
we're
saying,
not playing the game.
It's almost like saying even we can actually go with the willing buyer, willing seller model, but we also have to know how to devalue.
We must know how to devalue.
You know what I mean? So
we don't have to take it.
So because what's causing the headlines is like expropriation. Okay, let's actually say
willing buyer, willing seller. We'll drop
that in that value.
Let's drop it and then buy it.
It's fine.
Exactly.
I'm gonna break the bylaws.
But I can put
Have you said
drop that back and then
It's for the community.
Because what we've done is that, and that's the thing we need to do, is to say it's very hard to replace the rules. It's just easy to bend them.
Yeah.
It's easy to. It's almost like, like I'm one of the things in Tenanka corporate. I'm like, when I look at corporate, I'm like, look at where they've allowed us to play. You know where they allowed us to play?
Catch the rest of this episode on Patreon.
The Dojo.